Many of those who've been playing games for a long time recognize the Ninja Gaiden series as one of the greats. It debuted as an arcade beat-em-up that was really great fun way back in the late 80s, and then it proceeded to the Nintendo Entertainment System, where it became sort of the gold standard of cinematic kind of action-adventure games where you'd go through various really tough stages, fighting bosses, uncovering new elements of rather interesting stories, and basically playing as a very cool ninja character. It's been years and years since a new Ninja Gaiden game, though, even though Ryu Hayabusa, the star of the series, has made appearances in Tecmo's Dead or Alive series of fighting games, so he's never really left the big picture, but now he's back in a brand new Ninja Gaiden game, and it seems as though Tecmo's been making up for lost time, because this game is easily the best in the series yet. And that may not be a meaningful frame of reference for you, since the Ninja Gaiden games are very old now, at least the previous ones, but suffice it to say that this is one of the best action-adventure games ever made, and it's also one of the most challenging. In short, just about everything about this game is excellent, if not better. It looks completely amazing, but many people really expected as much because the developer Team Ninja has been known for excellent-looking games, from its Dead or Alive series on over to its recent Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. But these games haven't necessarily been known for their depth and complexity, and yet Ninja Gaiden features plenty of that. It turns out to be a full-on action-adventure game. It's closer to things like The Legend of Zelda than just straightforward level-to-level action experiences. In fact, during most of the game, you're uncovering bigger portions of the game world so that eventually you're free to explore these very vast, very interesting environments, and all the while you're engaging in these really, really cool battles against the game's tough enemies. In fact, it's the combat system in Ninja Gaiden that steals the show. It's just a really intricate, a really responsive, and just a very impressive looking and fun combat where you're constantly squaring off against these very tough opponents. There are basically no weak opponents in this game. All the foes you're fighting are tough. They have these moves that take off tons of your health and look very painful, and sure enough, though, you have your own very powerful moves with which you can easily lie legions of them flat and cut people's heads off, do all kinds of terrible things to lots and lots of enemies. So the action remains very intense throughout. It's very dynamic, very exciting pretty much the whole time. And just when you think you've seen the latest and toughest enemy, there's going to be a great big boss waiting around the next corner that's going to throw you for a real spin. Ninja Gaiden is a hard game. It's definitely not easy. It doesn't hold you by the hand. It gives you a lot of credit. It expects you to have decent reflexes and to be able to brave its many numerous challenges. With that said, the difficulty is fair. There's never any point in the game where your death comes from some sort of frustrating or cheap circumstance. It's always because you haven't quite figured out the pattern of the enemy you're fighting, but that's easier said than done because the enemy patterns in this game aren't obvious, because the enemies move in very fluid and lifelike manners and vary up their attack patterns and things like that. So this really is a skill-based game. The controls are incredibly responsive, as mentioned, so it comes down to just mastering the controls, mastering the huge variety of different moves available to the main character, learning how to incorporate the new moves that you'll learn along the way into your character's repertoire, and basically treating this as sort of a fighting game. It really has that level of depth to it, and sure enough, Team Ninja's experience at making fighting games obviously was brought to bear in the making of Ninja Gaiden. There's more to it than just the fighting, though. There are these action-adventure sequences where you're having to use Ryu Hayabusa's various acrobatic maneuvers to reach places a normal person couldn't get to, and you're solving some puzzles, and you're engaging in some basic kind of key hunts and things like that. There's even like a shopping system in the game, like in other action-adventure games. So as you're defeating enemies, they're dropping these yellow essence orbs that you absorb, and you can use them to buy healing potions and other useful items like that. And as if the combat weren't exciting enough as it is, the fact that you're earning money from killing foes is sort of extra incentive to always want to go out of your way to wipe the floor with whoever's standing in your way. This really does come down to pure action when you're playing Ninja Gaiden, but there are these other elements to it to give a lot of context to everything. The game has a very seamless and cohesive feel to it, where you're just working deeper and deeper into the heart of this enemy stronghold, and overall the game just delivers a very action-packed but very tightly woven feel to it, so that you're not just feeling like you're going from one level to the next all willy-nilly without any sort of grander structure tying it all together. If you've played the old Nintendo Entertainment System classics before, which happen to be unlockable in this new Ninja Gaiden game, then you may know that those were very cinematic games in their time and very story-driven. This new Ninja Gaiden isn't quite as story-driven. The story isn't really the main attraction. There's some really impressive-looking cutscenes during the course of this game, but the story itself basically boils down to your basic revenge plot, and that's all the context you really need. In short, Ryu Hayabusa is an angry, vengeful guy, and he's out to do away the evildoers who have razed his village and stolen an evil blade from its rightful resting place. So basically it's a big excuse to run around and fight a lot of different kinds of foes, and you'll end up facing everything from enemy ninjas to military commandos to the undead to demons and all kinds of foes like that. So there's great variety to the types of stuff you're seeing and fighting against, and overall the game packs a lot of very imaginative settings and situations into it. You will be surprised by a number of things that happen during the course of the game, let's just say. This is really one of those games where you have to play it to fully appreciate it. It looks incredibly impressive just visually, and sure enough, it sounds just as good. There's an excellent soundtrack all throughout that's as varied as the graphics are, and yet the gameplay really holds up to that presentation, and the gameplay is as responsive and as fluid as it looks. The game is just a pleasure to play. It's quite long. It features plenty of unlockable extras, and it's going to make you want to be a ninja just in your own everyday life, basically. You'll wish you were Ryu Hayabusa after playing this game. Everyone wants to be a ninja, right? And not all of us can run along walls and wield gigantic hammers and nunchakus like Ryu Hayabusa can, and we can't all get to fight demons and the undead, but what we can do is at least transform an everyday black t-shirt into a kind of a standard ninja cowl. So I highly recommend this technique. You just sort of put the shirt over your head, and where your head would normally go, you don't quite pull the shirt over. Instead, you take the arms and you tie them around your head like so. And then you're pretty much set. You can kind of tuck this part in, and so, you know, Ninja Gaiden is a really inspiring game. It's easily one of the best games I've played in many years. It's an excellent way to remake a classic series. I love the old games, and I think the new game is even better. It's one of the best action games for the Xbox available. What are you waiting for? Go out and play this game.